What what does it do? Who is your crew, red or blue? Or do you red, black, and green like my brothers do? Banners on the scene, hot in the motherfucker like some troops. Self-defense training, breaking down weapon systems, got a brother feeling bulletproof. But I do not want problems, rather solve them. Calculations, algorithms, absolute. Black fist to the roof, black fist to your tooth. Black fist to anybody that don't wanna see this black fist. When you see a black fist saluting, then you lean with it, on rock with it. Knock the Trump supporter out they sock with it. If he melanated, then acknowledge it. If she melanated, then acknowledge it. What what you know good, what you doing for the people? What up in your hood, what you doing for the people? What you know good, what you doing for the people?
All right, hey y'all. Welcome to my first show of 2020. I'm Erin J, and this is HeyDFW. The new year was not kind to me. I had the flu for it seemed like about 10 days, but more so like forever. But I was very, very sick, so I didn't do anything in January. So I'm so happy to be back, to be healthy and alive, because the Tamiflu almost took me down. So today's show is sponsored by Specs Custom Writing Services. It's a boutique writing agency that offers resumes, cover letters, CVs, and much more. So check them out at specswriting.com. So the music that you were listening to when the show just came on was from the one and only Brotha Shawt over here. That is my guest today. It's called What Up, So check that out on YouTube, and you have other places where they can download that as well, right?
Oh yeah, wherever you listen to music. What if that's Apple Music, Spotify, Google Play, wherever. I'm everywhere.
Okay, y'all. So y'all heard it. It's
that's
a nice joint. All right. Brotha Shawt is an entrepreneur, rapper, poet, community leader, and health advocate. So we're gonna jump into it. I got tons of questions for him and get all of his business. So let's go. So welcome. Happy New Year.
You too. I'm glad you invited me. It's cool to finally meet you on the fly.
Yes. So, how long have you been doing music?
Oh, since I was a young man. I probably like age 14. All my life, really.
Okay. That's a pretty long time. I listened to your song several times.
Okay. I'm with that.
And I have a line in there I want to ask you about.
Okay.
In that song, you said it's about being a thug, you're a mug, you don't give a F about black love, just your Gucci, Louis, and Jacksons. Can you elaborate on the meaning of that? Like, what does that line mean? Because I was like, oh, okay. I know what I took it as.
Yeah. What you take it as?
I took it as, that people are like more so about flashing and not necessarily helping and giving back.
Right.
Is that it?
Yeah, we could definitely say, of course. Yeah, I think what I said, because you a thug. You don't even care about black love, just a Gucci Louis and your Jacksons, not your Africans.
Yeah.
What up? So basically, you know what I'm saying? We as black people, we care a lot about European things, the things that come from other cultures, but when it comes to being African or embracing where we really come from, you know what I'm saying, like, we don't really care too much about that, especially in the light of corporations like Gucci and money. That's why I was referring to Jackson's, like, 20s or whatever. And then but you don't really care about black love or your Africans, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, it's just pretty much sharing the same sentiments as actually Carter G. Woodson, the guy who lobbied to have a Black History Month. It was actually a black man who lobbied for, who created Black History Month in honor of Frederick Douglass, and Frederick Douglass' birthday is in February. So he even said in his book, The Miseducation of the Negro, that we're educated to love the Roman, love the Greek, love the Teuton, but despise everything that's African. So those were my sentiments that I was writing about.
I love that, and I definitely agree about some of that stuff. I wish, what I would like to see, and I see more of it now, and it's good. I like to support black businesses and things of that sort, but like our buying power is like
tremendous.
Like it's big. Yeah. I mean, Tyler Perry is a billionaire off of just the black dollar, and I would love to just see us just pretty much invest in like our community more when people come out with record deals and things of that sort. We're clothing designers that are, designed by, African Americans. It's fine to wear the other things too. I love certain other brands as well, but it'd be really great to have like a real iconic fashion brand by an African American as well. So I definitely agree with that. So with that being said, what inspires you to write your music? Because you have more songs on there. I was all on your YouTube page. So what inspires you to write? Like when you just say, you know what, I'm gonna write about this. Like what happens from an artist's perspective? Because I never that's like not my lane. So I never know what like inspires you or what makes you think, okay, this is how I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna articulate this way. What happens?
Well, I guess it's like for me, once you kind of get what we refer to as knowledge itself, when you get an understanding of who you are, it's like I feel like you got a responsibility, especially and when you have light or when you're producing content that might be here even long before you're not here anymore physically, you feel me? So I feel like we need to be responsible in the content that we put out, whether if that's music, whether that's other media such as painting or even just being a media person. I feel like we have a responsibility to the people. I myself, I'm a real big history buff and just like to learn different things, and I just say, you know what, one day, man, I'm gonna change my name, I'm gonna change my music, my content and my music, and I'm gonna try to do something positive or constructive with it, you feel me?
Yeah.
And educate the people and entertain them at the same time,
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm gonna ask you about something that's like it's always been around, but now it's like being brought to the forefront. Colorism and featureism, like how people are basically with the colorism issue, as far as like how some people celebrities make like uplift a certain uplift women that are not black or mixed race and things of that sort, are deemed as more beautiful as the darker skinned women. And then the featureism is kind of where it came in when I think those are two journalists that talked about Blue Ivy's features, that she's going to look more like Jay-Z with the big nose and things of that sort.
Right.
And that's also deemed as not beautiful. But the thing is, I mean, who told us that we weren't beautiful in the first place? So as a black man, how do you look at that, and how do you view that, seeing that, because it's coming more so from like industry wise versus anything that black women are not beautiful unless they're mixed or they're seemed exotic if they're not black or something like that. How do you look at that?
Well, I just want to give a shout out to the brother Lakeith. What's his name? Lakeith Stanfield.
Okay.
The Atlanta actor. He acted in Atlanta. He was also the brother that was in Get Out, the one who first got abducted or whatever. He pretty much came out and said, hey man, I don't got time for people who's disrespecting black women.
Yeah.
You feel me? So I'm a big up that brother. But outside of that, it might not be as obvious, but it's definitely a what's the word? A conditioning. They're training or have successfully trained us to think a certain way, and this way of thinking is definitely came from pretty much just how the European or the white man has changed our mind and presented different ideas to us of what the standard of beauty is, what it is to be beautiful, what it is to be an American, what it is to be a man or a woman. Even then, like before we was brought over here, shipped over here, we had our own concepts, our own languages, our own religious philosophies, games and things of this nature. So we had our own culture and thus our own identity of what beauty was, our own concept of what a man should be. But unfortunately, when we came over here, those same ideas were not kept. You know what I'm saying? We adopted other people's ideas, other people's philosophies, and their concept of beauty. So all it is us acting out and what we've been trained on. Obviously at that time, the white woman was like so precious and viewed beautiful. That pretty much she was the standard of beauty is what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
So all we're doing is adopting other people's concepts. You know what I'm saying? So as far as featureism, I feel like it's the same thing because you have women like Sarah Bartman, who was actually. She was, I don't know if you're familiar with her, but she was the lady who had an exceptionally voluptuous gluteus maximus. Her butt was super big, you feel me? And she was actually like on the chitlin circuit, on like a freak show, like the circus. Like she was in like a circus, and so the white man would come see and pay to see her and her features. So this is the same thing that we as black men are adopting in our own way of thinking. You feel me? We're because at one point in time that was normal, for us.
Yeah.
You would also see in African imagery or pictures or whatever that women would have their breast out, women to be very loosely clothed, have few clothes on. One, just being in the environment that they're in is very hot. You know what I'm saying? Us being in America, it gets cold in different portions, so we kind of have to have clothes at different times, whatever. But when you live by the equator in a tropical area, you know what I'm saying? Like you can wear less clothes. So, anyways, we didn't sexualize our women in that sense, in their features or whatever. It was a part of the culture to have that. So, but when the white man came over there, they were surprised. They were hypnotized. You feel me? And the lack thereof of their women, and you'd have I don't know what it's called, but they'd put those. If you look at the Europeans in their early dress, you'd have that. They'd have that. I think it's like a corset, or something, but it'd have like in the back, it'd have a little hump or whatever.
Like modern day race trainers.
Yeah. But they would exaggerate the back end of the woman as well. So, but this was in to copy or mimic, the natural features of the black woman. So, anyways, for the short answer is we have adopted other people's way of viewing ourselves.
Yeah, and it's really sad, like seeing it kind of how it plays out. Because the one thing I will say, like, neither one of my sisters are married to black men. Ooh. But what I don't, but the thing is, neither one of them say anything about their women being unattractive or something negative. They just don't. They don't say anything, And one's been married 13 years. Okay. One's been married 7 years, and I've never heard all black women are ghetto. All black women are loud. Black women have nappy hair. Like, to me, I sometimes feel like, and a lot of people think it's because you're dating interracially that's the problem. No, you're basically down on somebody else to feel validated for what you're doing. And to me, that's my problem. I don't have a problem with, necessarily, interracial love. It's just I'm not going to down somebody else to validate my decision or what I find attractive or something like that, And I think that's kind of, that's my take on it.
I think my issue with interracial dating is when you're in people in positions of power, you know what I'm saying, is when you're in a position of power, you're in the limelight, or you're making a lot of money, like NFL players, like why, or sports players, whatever, why is it a consistent thing for them to date outside their race? But regardless, you're gonna love who you love, whatever. Right, I'm not gonna tell nobody otherwise. But you know what I'm saying, when we examine this institution, what you're doing is essentially transferring your wealth to what could have been a black community, a black child, a black family, and now you are transferring that to somebody else. And then it's also a message that you're sending out to the youth, to other people, saying, hey, well, maybe when I reach a certain status or I reach a certain level, maybe I don't need a black woman or somebody that looks like me or my mother. You know what I'm saying? Maybe I need to go outside of that. And and I think that comes with a history. But like I said, you're gonna love who you love. It's just, I feel like people in power should definitely consider marrying inside their race.
Yeah. I can see that. Because sometimes it seems as though, quote unquote, maybe leveling up or something like that.
The white woman, it seems, as a prize, some kind of sort of prize, some kind of I made it, you know what I'm saying? Even rappers talk about that, you know what I'm saying? So, and which is, like I said, You're gonna love who you love, but at the same time, I think there's a psychology about that.
I do too.
Yeah, and then at one point in time, brother, not too long ago, even when your grandma was alive, you couldn't talk to a white woman. Emmett Till got killed by just whistling or giving a comment. So at one point in time, bro, you couldn't have done that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I think just as, and with this, we can examine that further, that white man, whether they uplifted their women or they were super protective of them, I feel like we should have that same energy towards our women.
That's exact. I definitely feel you on that. That I'm 100% like that. No one else talks about their women like black men do.
Right.
Sorry, y'all. Y'all be going in on us for no reason.
That's true story.
And so I do wish that black men would just have some self-reflection. If date who you date, love who you love, but at the same time, be respectful of the people who raised you and who were around you.
Right.
Because I'm not gonna say anything negative about black men if I decide to date outside my race. It's just, it's happened to happen. So
come holler at me before you do that, sister.
I will definitely talk to you about that.
Talking about.
I will talk to you about that. Okay, so let's move on to the black community. My next question is, I'm new to Dallas. I've been here in November, marked 2 years. So
okay. Where you from?
I'm originally from Alabama, but when I moved here, I moved from Georgia. So so I'm proud of myself. I've been finding my way home by myself when I get lost sometimes. I'm like, okay, and sometimes I deliberately don't use the GPS because I'm like, you're gonna find your way home. So I still can't find my way home from downtown. I still can't do that. Today's not the day I'm gonna try it either.
Yeah.
But so far I really like it. I like it. Everybody's nice. I mean, you have your experiences and things of that sort. But for the most part, I'm like, this is home. So I'm happy here.
Right on.
How long have you lived in Dallas?
All my life.
Okay.
I've traveled. I lived in other cities, but I'm from here.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So from your perspective, being born and raised here, and if you were to tell someone like an outsider like me that's just kind of just getting their feet wet, what is your perspective of the black community here in Dallas?
I always say there's different enclaves or different subgroups, different communities. So when you say the black community, it's not going to be a homogenous or one uniform thing. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So you got your church crowd, you got your Afrocentric crowd, you got your activists, and you got your hood crowd, you got your affluent crowd. So I say it's very diverse. It's diverse. Not all black people are into the same thing, so it would definitely be generalizing and saying that all black people in Dallas are like this or do that, but it's definitely diverse. It's a lot of different things that black people get into and believe in, and different groups, subgroups and stuff like that. Okay. Even just like in Africa isn't just one uniform culture. It's definitely different countries in Africa and different cultures in Africa. So I feel like in that sense, we have that part of our culture intact to where we're very diverse.
Oh, okay. Did you do the ancestor testing?
So I personally did not, but my sister did, and I feel like we got the same parents.
Right.
Man, what they say? They say we from Cameroon. Like I'm Cameroon. I got some Creole in me, but as far as the Africa part, it's Cameroon.
Yeah, we did. My sister, and same thing happened. My sister did ours, and it was I think it was Tojo and Ghana. It was the Tojo tribe, Ghana, and it was just really interesting. And then they had was it West Indian and Irish? And then the thing is, when you think about that, it's you really didn't have all that kind of voluntarily. So how did all this mixture start to happen when it started to trickle down into the other races and stuff like that?
Oh, we know how it happened.
Yeah.
Rape.
Yeah.
Rape.
So it was interesting.
Yeah. But what's interesting also to me is so when we were in these conditions, when we were in bondage in this country, they didn't say, hey, well, I'm going to only have slaves in from Ghana or slaves from Benin or just slaves from Cameroon or the Congo congregated here. We were all over this mug. So, and then if we had to procreate, then we would have probably procreated with basically Africans from different countries or whatever.
Yeah.
So, and then my thing is like, how could you be 50? Like, so Lil Wayne just did his ancestry in me. He says he's like 53% Nigerian or whatever. But it's like, how do you be 53% of a person? You know what I'm saying? Or a tribe. So I just, it's interesting to me. But also just to add to the conversation is like, they didn't keep us. They didn't. Keep us based on our country or where we came from, where they brought us from. We were around different people from different tribes and different areas and groups and stuff like that. So, So I think it'll definitely be more. You know what I'm saying? More than just whatever they're telling us on the ancestry.
That's true.
I would like to do my 23andMe because my sister did the Ancestry.com.
Okay.
But I'm seeing a lot of people do 23andMe.
Okay.
Yeah, I want to try that out.
Okay. Yeah. What's the difference with that one?
I think I don't really know specifically, but I do believe it's more accurate and it's more more specific than just Ancestry.
Okay. Mm-hmm. All right. So you're a community organizer.
Amen.
Yeah.
Say amen.
Amen. What inspired that? Like, what inspired you to become a community organizer?
I guess just ultimately, at the end of the day, just, initially getting with a group of people, doing my music thing and, my subject matter and my music kind of attracted a certain type of person to me or a certain type of people to me. And, these people happen to be politically active, engaged in the community. And I naturally, got down with it. I naturally became a part. But furthermore, what kept me, because, in this culture or in this way of living, you have people that come around, but they don't stick around. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's been a lot of people through my journey that said they were down, that I was working with, but now I look around, these people aren't around no more. So what kept me in this movement or whatever has been pretty much the conditions of my people, the conditions of my community. I'm from Oak Cliff, America. You know what I'm saying? I grew up here, and pretty much the conditions, bro. It's like real bad. It's real sad. And when you look around, the people who should be responsible or take that responsibility to do something about it, they're not doing that. They're doing the opposite and making it worse. And also on some selfish shit, you know what I'm saying? What if that's from people in power, people that's quote unquote leaders, what if it's the church community, or the politicians, you know what I'm saying? They just don't care, you feel me? So I took it upon myself to take responsibility in my community and do something about that.
Yeah, it seems like, because it's work. It's so much work, and then everybody's not equipped for the work. It's like people can hear what you're saying, they want to do it, but it is a lot of work, so I commend you for that.
I respect.
So I saw on your Instagram, and correct me if I mispronounced it, you received an appreciation award for, is it VIP Socio?
Yeah, exactly. You're on point.
Okay, good.
We're
Look
from
at me.
VIP Socio. Pretty much they're it's an African-based company or African-owned company. I think these brothers are from Nigeria, but they're based in Atlanta. They're starting up in Dallas with Daria Hookfan. Also, they're in LA. They're across the country, right? Mm-hmm. But what it is they're looking to compete with Eventbrite. They're looking to compete with Etsy and those type of platforms. So if you go to VIPsocio.com, you can look up events. So what there's like is, man, these Africans, they come over here and they want to know like where the hangouts at, like where can I meet people like me with my mentality, and ultimately they seen there was no platforms to do so they created their own website to where they you can put up events if you have an event, you can put an event on there and also look up other events, and it's straight cultural stuff from African.
That's what's up.
And
I
what
need to
they're
check
doing,
that out.
yeah, they're connecting the diaspora through that. So I'm gonna go to a Caribbean comedy show on Valentine's Day, and but yeah, they got all types of events there.
Okay, that's what's up.
Yeah.
Shouts out to VIP Socio. Correct?
Yeah.
All right, shouts out to them. All right, so In 2019, Dallas police officer Amber Guyger, former Dallas police officer Amber Guyger was sentenced to 10 years for fatally shooting Botham John. He was unarmed in his apartment when she mistaken his apartment for her own and shot him.
She knew that was her not her apartment, but go ahead. My bad.
So we have a clip from Fox 4 News here in Dallas. It's about a protest you and 8 other people participated in, known as the Dallas 9. So I'm going to play that clip for the viewers. Ready? Whenever you're ready.
Ms. Guyger, would you please stand? The jury having reached a verdict, I will now announce it.
An attorney for the family of police shooting victim Botham Jean is upset about misdemeanor charges against 9 protesters who were arrested yesterday outside the Cowboys game. The 9 protesters were arrested near AT&T Stadium and charged with Class B misdemeanors. The demonstration was focused on the shooting death of Botham Jean and another man who was killed by Arlington police. Fox 4's Sean Rabin now with more. Sean.
And Brandon, their chief complaints, Amber Guyger be fired from the Dallas Police Department and the charge against her upped to murder. Right now, the 9 still in jail.
Outside of AT&T Stadium Sunday, a protest. The coffins call attention to Botham Jean and O'Shea Terry, shot and killed by police in different cities under different circumstances. The protest action expressing disapproval to black men being killed by police.
This is exactly what we want to see people in America doing.
9 protesters were arrested for blocking or obstructing a pathway. Police say they were warned 3 times, first at Gate E outside the stadium, then on a frontage road, and finally when they locked arms at Randall Mill and Collins. Their civil disobedience, the active refusal to obey certain laws.
These protesters are encouraged by the Jean family, and I'm happy to do that as their attorney. The protest, the style that they've gone about protesting is in the spirit of peaceful protest, and it's something that is deeply American.
Jean family attorney Lee Merritt compares the time the 9 have spent in jail, nearly a day for a Class B misdemeanor, to the time Amber Guyger was behind bars after turning herself in to the Kaufman County Jail for the killing of Botham Jean.
She sat there for a few hours on a manslaughter charge. I mean, somebody was killed and then bonded out with not a whole lot of fanfare.
It seems as though this movie is repeating itself over and over and over again.
State Senator Royce West calls it a movie African Americans are tired of seeing. Understands the frustration, but cautions justice requires patience.
Don't expect this to come to trial tomorrow, because it's not. We know how long it took in order to wrap up the investigation of Oliver and for the case to come to trial. And that's exactly what's going to happen here. But we will not forget Botham Jean.
These pictures from Merritt show 7 of the 9 inside the Arlington City Jail. Protest, he says, will continue.
They're not going to intimidate people from participating. And I want to be clear, the family has encouraged this.
Now, the Oliver reference by Senator West to Roy Oliver, the former Balch Springs police officer, sentenced to 15 years for killing Jordan Edwards. That case took 2.5 months to get to a grand jury. Record time, though, for an officer-involved shooting in Dallas County. Organizers promise protests will continue indefinitely until they say justice is served. Brandon?
All right, Sean, thank you.
All right.
Moments ago, Dallas County District Attorney Faith Johnson called on citizens.
All right, you guys, that was the clip from the Dallas 9 protest, and I just wanted to ask you, Brotha Shawt, so first, have the charges been dismissed before we go into this? Because
No, I was sentenced on January 6th. I was found guilty on one of these charges. They had 2 charges against me. One was obstructing. Now they changed that. They dropped those. It was blocking an ambulance or something, impeding with ambulance or EMR vehicle, and interfering with a police officer's duty. I was also have an ankle monitor on my leg due to this protest in my sentence, and I have to report and go to all types of stuff, you know what I'm saying, because of this. So mine haven't been dismissed for whatever reason somehow. So out of 9, 3 took pleas. 6 of us went to trial. They did us 2 by 2 or whatever, and the last 2 to go to trial were the only ones that were found not guilty. I don't know how that happened, but yeah. So that's the update right now. I'm going to court. Just went to court yesterday for a bond violation. I kind of already violated or whatever, but
this is all alleged, by the way.
Nah, this is going on right now,
well,
baby.
I was just trying to make sure,
Oh, my bad.
It's alleged. This is alleged.
Hey, whatever,
these are alleged charges.
But it's sad though, because our freedom of speech, our right to protest, which like Lee Merritt says is very American, but when it's not in favor of the establishment and what they got going on, then you know what I'm saying, they're not trying to do that. So I don't think they even let us use the First Amendment as a defense. You feel me? And so this whole trial was very interesting. I feel like they're trying to pick on me because out of all of us that went to trial, I'm the only one who got an ankle monitor on. You feel me?
Yeah.
And, so I don't know what that's about, what's going on, but no, my charges have not been dismissed. Oh, but they was going to dismiss them if the girl I went to trial with, Lily Marie, if she basically pled guilty or took a guilty plea, then they would have let me dismiss my charges or whatever. But I was like, nah, don't even consider that. We're gonna ride this out. You feel me?
Yeah, that's not fair. But you guys support Brotha Shawt in this. I do feel like people have the right to protest, and as of now, since the charges have not been dismissed, they are deemed as alleged. Okay.
Well, just to be honest, we are like our trial over. You know what I'm saying?
It's over. Okay.
Yeah, we trial. I'm sentenced. You know what I'm saying?
Sentenced. Okay.
I'm on. I was sentenced to 75 days in jail and a year probation or whatever, and so I'm doing my probation. Well, I'm on bond appeal. I appealed the jury's decision, so right now, basically, I'm on bond appeal, which is another form of probation.
But to me, just because it's sentenced doesn't mean that you were guilty. It does not mean that.
Well, I mean, the jury found me guilty, though.
That doesn't mean it's true.
I know, exactly. That's why I'm appealing it.
Yeah,
That's why I'm appealing it because no, I'm not guilty.
Yeah,
you're right,
he's not. You're an innocent man.
Say that.
Yeah, he's an innocent man, y'all.
You hear me? I'm innocent. You know what I'm talking about?
So,
but while we on the conversation, what we're also doing, I'm leading the campaign to change I-30 south of downtown. Excuse me. Yeah, I'm changing. My bad. I'm changing Lamar Street south of I-30 to Botham John Boulevard. So if anybody is watching, you yourself, if y'all will support me on this campaign, on this mission, I also got the blessing from Allison John, Botham John's mother.
Okay.
She just texted me earlier, said she fully supports our campaign and she's willing to support as well. I want to also get the St. Lucian government in on this. I want to get everybody in Dallas, everybody in Oak Cliff, everybody in America to stand in solidarity with me on this. I need people to knock doors. I need people to donate. I need people to get in the streets with me, share these videos, like the Botham John Memorial Committee on Facebook, and show your support. Where if that's just sharing the video, sharing it with your friends. We got to change Lamar Street to Botham John Boulevard. This is also the same street that Dallas Police Headquarters is on. This is also the same street that Botham John was living on at the time of his murder. So this would be very historic, and Dallas has the opportunity to be on the right side of history by honoring victims of police brutality in a major way. And also, to keep it 100, a lot of our street names and monuments and school names are memorializing Confederate generals, very racist people such as Lamar, which was I was informed by Leroy Pena. He's leading a lot. He's a Native American. He's leading a lot. His crew got Indigenous Day in Dallas as a holiday. You know what I'm saying? So, anyways, he let me know that Lamar was actually a very big hater of Native Americans. They got his tribe exterminated. Lamar actually was a Confederate general who succeeded Sam Houston, and after Sam Houston, he ordered the extermination of many Native Americans. So if you're Native American, Hispanic, or whatever, we need your support, because Lamar Street, for that to even be a street, to even have to honor Lamar, a Confederate war general, fighting to keep people in bondage, fighting to keep people, to keep slavery as an institution in the South. that's a slap in the face of in Native Americans. That's a slap in the face of Black people and people who sympathize with us, who claim that they're our allies. We need to change Lamar Street to Botham Jean Boulevard, and we have that opportunity to do so. So please stand with me in this effort.
And so by showing support, just is it let's support the foundation page, or just tell them exactly where to go?
Okay, exactly where to go. Go to Facebook. Type in Botham Jean Memorial Committee, and I'll be sharing the campaign as we go. I have videos on there where I'm pretty much introducing the campaign. Yeah. Please go there. We also have a Twitter page. We have an email. Just show your support by liking the page. We and his mother let me know that they did like a campaign, like I think it was like a change.org petition. They got over 20,000 signatures. Mm-hmm. But I'm going a different route. I'm not doing the change.org thing. Mm-hmm. What I'm doing is going to City Hall. I'm going to, the process is to pretty much get 51% of the signatures of the residents and the businesses on this street to be in solidarity. So if you know a business owner on Lamar Street, south of I-30, please connect me with them. Please share this information with them, and we need their support because this has to be, it will be done, but this has to be done with the support. And then I'm going to go to City Council and ask for their support. And we're going to see if these politicians are on the side of, on the right side of history, and if they stand with the people, because I don't see how you would not vote on that. Especially, why would you vote against Botham Jean, but you voted for Dirk Nowitzki to have a street out here in Dallas, Texas? So that's what we're doing.
Okay. All right, y'all heard it. So make sure you guys support him. You have my support.
Amen.
I'll go to the page when we wrap things up here. Back to that CNN article with
that was on CNN?
Yeah, well, the clip was from Fox 4. I had a CNN article about Amber Guyger's sentencing. So
okay. I
have to, I was reference myself just in case someone said they heard it. Like, no, it was on CNN, so we stick it in.
Yeah, stick it in.
Yeah. So on that CNN article, Amber Guyger, it stated that Amber Guyger, although she was sentenced to 10 years, she will be eligible for parole in 5 years. What are your thoughts on the verdict and the trial? Like,
complete. I want to be good. So on the verdict, I thought that was a slap in the face. I guess it was a gesture to convict her. You know what I'm saying? But the amount of time was a slap in the face. If the shoe was on the other foot, Botham Jean would have been buried under the jail. You understand me? He would have not have gotten 10 years. So I think she should have at least got life. You know what I'm saying? At least at the bare minimum. I'm very upset with Judge Tammy Kemp for hugging and consulting and giving a Bible to a convicted murderer. Because I've never ever seen a judge consult a murderer like that, a convicted murderer. So I just think it was very, very overwhelming, and just to see. Which I understand that the brother did what he had to do for himself, and I can really appreciate that. I can definitely appreciate that. That's nobody's life but his own. I just wish the young brother would have considered, which he's probably not thinking on this context, but consider that the whole world was watching. The whole world, the entire world, from St. Lucia. This was an international travesty as well. This happened in Dallas, Texas. It was a national case, or you know what I'm saying? It was followed nationally, but he's from St. Lucia, from the Caribbean, so he had people internationally tuning into this. He even had people in Africa showing their solidarity and their support and their frustration. So when you have the whole world watching you, I feel like going forward, consider that when we go outside or we represent ourselves, whether the cameras are there or not, you understand that you're representing an entire race of people. You know what I'm saying? You are not just representing yourself, you're representing an entire race of people. So when you go and hug the person that killed your brother, it just sends mixed messages. You know what I'm saying? That is very confusing. We don't understand how to interpret that, but I just would say if the officers killed me, and my sister, my brother went and hugged the officer that killed me, I would have came back and haunted my family and members. You know what I'm saying? But so the whole thing, I feel, and then what you saying that she's finna get, she's probably only gonna serve 5 or be eligible in parole in 5. She's gonna be back on the street, and just white people, they really they look out for their own. So I'm sure she's not going to have an issue finding a job. Even Darren Wilson, the officer that killed Mike Brown, he received hundreds of thousands of dollars from white people from across the country. He also received like a $10,000 check from Walmart. You understand me? So they support their people. You feel me? So I don't really feel like after 5 years, she's probably doing very well right now. I'm sure she's receiving a lot of financial support in a nice, cozy cell, probably with cushions, access to Wi-Fi and internet and television and stuff like that. I just feel like, man, if the shoe was on the other foot, like I said, our brother would have been buried under the jail. So I'm very upset with how it played out.
Yeah.
Especially after the fact that, I was arrested at the time longer than she was, you know what I'm saying? But had I walked in her house and said, oh man, I thought that was mine, And then also, while we on the subject, Mike Mata, you understand me, the president of the Dallas Police Association, and how they showed you through the trial that this man manipulated evidence. You know what I'm saying? He tried to hide things, told the officer to turn their body cameras off and things of that nature, corresponding on a encrypted, basically where they can't track his messages and stuff like that. He was acting very shady to hide this stuff, and then so I'm upset with him. He needs to lose his job. He needs to be fired. Also, Dallas Police Chief Renee Hall, she needs to be fired. You understand? If we did not go to jail and our story did not go national or whatever, Renee Hall would have taken even more of her sweet ass time to fire Amber Guyger. You know what I'm saying? So Renee Hall, the way she did handled that situation was very tactless. She showed that she's a black woman, but she's not for us. You understand me? Also, the DA at the time, Faith Johnson. The DA, Faith Johnson, when he was killed, she didn't handle her situation effective either. So at that time, I also campaigned to help DA Cruzo get elected, and we needed to get Faith Johnson, because these are black people that they put in positions of power. But they, time and time again, we see that all skin folk ain't kinfolk. You understand me? And just because you in office and you look like us, you talk like us, you walk like us, that don't mean you really gonna fight for us. And from Faith Johnson to Dallas Police Chief Renee Hall and Tammy Kemp, they showed that. And then, just to keep it gangster, Tammy Kemp and Renee Hall are sorority sisters. And then Tammy Kemp was also endorsed by the Dallas Police Association when she was running for judge. So it's showing you a correlation of the forces that are working together that are against, the common person, even in times of tragedy such as the murder of Botham Jean.
Yeah. It was very interesting case. My next question, piggybacking on the Botham Jean, is like right after that kind of swindled down. Atina Jefferson, was shot by Erin Dean. Is it Tatiana or Atina? Tatiana. My apologies.
Rest in peace, baby.
She was only 28, and they were doing a welfare check. And the thing is, like, anybody that you hear something, the first thing you do, the natural reaction is to get up and to go see what it is. And I remember when I was living in Savannah, I was living like in a triplex, an apartment up top and two at the bottom, and the police came and did a welfare check on my neighbor, and they knocked on the door because we shared a living room space. And I answered the door, and like, hey, we're here to do a welfare check on XYZ, and I was like, oh, okay, well, this is his unit upstairs. But like, they announced themselves, they came to the front door. It wasn't any problems. And, I just didn't understand why, I guess I didn't understand why it had to end fatally. And another thing is, like, when you take this job as an officer, it is a life or death, almost like the military. So I do get that nobody wants to get killed, but at the end of the day, you did take this job knowing that there's a possibility that you might this might happen. So I was feared for my life defense is kind of getting like a little watered down, but he was immediately terminated. However, I mean, her whole family just seemed like didn't her dad pass away in December? Her mom passed away in January. It's just tragic, and her little nephew it's just tragic. All because of somebody else's fear of what they think they might deal with. I don't think you should pursue that type of career if you're scared.
I agree. I really think we need to get the police off the street. They're occupying force in our communities. They show us that time and time again, even in their even in their inception, since they were created as the slave patrol to keep property such as black people. On a plantation. The police force is an extension of the slave patrol, an extension of the overseers, and especially they show this time and time again in black communities. You know what I'm saying? They show that they're not for us. They have this culture of the blue line, protecting the blue line. The blue line is a thin blue line between darkness, you feel me? And essentially they're saying we're the darkness. So when you're a police officer, you swear to a fraternal order. You know what I'm saying? And even Amber Guyger has this these pictures and this way of thinking and the blue line thing post on her Pinterest and stuff like that. So this is a culture. The type of person typically who wants to be a police officer, they kind of come from a background of not really being for the people, you know what I'm saying? And also myself, I started a program with two other brothers, Marcus X. Russell, Yafael Shamsuddin, Balagoon. We started the Community Engagement Specialist Program where we patrolled our neighborhood.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, this is one of the most dangerous neighborhoods in the city, Highland Hills, you understand me? More specifically, the Greens Apartments, Highland Park Apartments, where we came in a matter of 2 weeks, excuse me, I apologize, 2 months, we came in. The crime reports were 8 pages front and back. We reduced those to not even a full page, but we didn't come in trying to intimidate people. We were not trying to come in taking the police job and acting like the police or whatever. Well, we came in with love. And before we came, we were doing book drives, giving away books, food, feeding the community, mentoring the youth, all of these things. And then when we finally came and patrolled, they already knew who we was. Of course, we had opposition, like, who is these niggas coming in, walking around with big old choppers in our neighborhood, whatever. Right. But through that process, we continue to do the book drives. We continue to feed the neighborhood, and we continue to. And we moved in the apartments. We lived there. You know what I'm saying? We were net residents, so we also were there because of we weren't just outside. We became a part of the neighborhood, you feel me? And we significantly reduced crime in one of the most dangerous apartment complexes in Dallas, Texas, you hear me? And this is a neighborhood where people that get killed at least every 2 weeks, no fail. And I have the statistics on that, the data. And then so for us to come, and there were no murders, there were a couple robberies. Once they found out our schedule or whatever, then we mixed it up, started getting different shifts or whatever. But we effectively reduced the crime in this in that neighborhood, historically, bad neighborhood pretty much. But also what we did outside of just patrolling our neighborhood, there's a gas station right outside the apartments on Bonneview and Simpson Stewart by the name of Highmart. Highmart is shortchanging you on your change. If you don't get your receipt, they're going to give you less change than what they're supposed to. And they're taxing you on non-taxable items such as bacon, such as tea, such as cookies, such as condiments and bread and baby items, water, things of that nature. So I compiled a list. If y'all want to get that list, holla at me, Devontae D. Peters. Send me a message on Facebook or Brotha Shawt on Instagram. And send me a message and I'll send you the list. But it's a list of items in Texas and other states, but it varies state to state. But in Texas, certain items are not supposed to be taxed on. This store is taxing on them, and this is a predominantly black neighborhood and a predominantly poor neighborhood. So you were coming and setting up shop as foreigners in our community and stealing money from us. And you might think, well, 8 cents for every dollar, 16 cents for every 2. Not only it's not fair, but that's essentially money that we could be reinvesting in our communities, you feel me? And then for every dollar that you spend, they taking at least 8 cents or more off of that. And then, but just think about how much business they get in a day, how many times they do this a day, in a week, in a month, in a year, and they're sending that money right back to wherever they came from, and they're building up their communities. You know what I'm saying? But this is money that we could be doing for our communities, because the city council people ain't gonna do it. The city council person ain't gonna do it, and the city council person is the one who's bragging about, that's my store. I put $200,000 in that store. So that says to me, you're getting a kickback, Jack. You know what I'm saying? You was getting some of this, a kickback off of this illegal, unethical activity that's going on at Highmark. And we called him out on it. Tanel Atkins, we called you out on it. And what he did was created a Stop the Violence event with Renee Hall, himself, and other people, police officers and stuff. Officer Hughes, he states, yeah, we're gonna, because matter of fact, after we stopped our program in the apartments, due to Renee Hall and Tanel Atkins creating a plan to get us out the apartments, what they did immediately after we left, there was a drive-by shooting at Highmark. That story went national. I'm talking about
Highmark a grocery store or like a convenience store? Because I've never been to this area.
What's a gas station?
It's Highmark's a gas station?
Yeah, convenience store,
okay.
Right, with gas station. Okay. But, in these type of communities, this is a food desert. So people don't have access to groceries like that. Yeah. So, unfortunately, people buy dinner out the gas station. You know what I'm saying? Every day. You know what I'm saying? Whatever they can get at the gas station, that's what's convenient for them. That's what's accessible for them, and that's what they can afford. So you got people that's buying their groceries at a gas station. They're buying their dinners, feeding their kids from food at a gas station. You hear me? But this is also detrimental because we have a person. Tanel, you can walk from his office to this grocery store. You hear? To this gas station. You hear me? And he's so as I was saying, Officer Hughes was making a comment that the city of Dallas is going to sue Highmark, which is blatant because you are lying to the people's face, because you're not going to do that. The city count, this is his store, this is the store that he's doing, you feel me? And that's your homeboy, so you just lying. And then my brother Marcus X Russell, he had to kind of get the mic because they wasn't trying to let him speak. They showed down wasn't going to let me speak, but he called him out on this. And do you know what his statement was? His response was, this library was built off without a bond package. Brother, what does this library have to do with this gas station that we talking to you about? Right. You hear what I'm saying to you? So these people are so cold-blooded that they will lie and shuck and jive and be jigaboo niggas, okay, in the face of the people, in face of the public, and not even care if they're on live stream or not, because they know that their bosses is the voters. If you're not voting, then they ain't got no boss. You hear me? And the people that did vote for them, those are the people that's gonna ride for them. You know what I'm saying? So, anyways, I'm exposing the contradictions, in this city, and they don't like that. I also filed a complaint on Chief Renee Hall. The police chief Renee Hall, Devontae D. Peters, filed a complaint on her because she sucked officers on us and physically assaulted us at the first community oversight police review board meeting. You hear me? So they don't like me. Also, John Wiley Price appointed me to the Lane Plating Community Advisory Group. But long story short, there's a very toxic site, a very toxic location in Highland Hills off of Bonneview. They've been poisoning the water, the community, for over 90 years. You hear me? And the EPA has finally decided to do something about this, shut them down. Yeah. So I'm working with the EPA and the TCEQ to pretty much determine what the future of this is going to be, what they're going to do, how they're going to clean it up, what standards they're going to bring it to, and what we could possibly do in the future with this location. So John Wiley Price appointed me. We had our first public meeting the Thursday before last, and it was brought to my attention that Tanel Atkins and other elected officials that were present, they were trying to scold John Wiley Price and talk down on him for appointing me. You know what I'm saying? But John Wiley Price, he stood up for me because he juiced me up. He was like, man, this brother is the real deal. I'm going to support this young brother. And then so pretty much, long story short, man, they tried to get on him, tried to get him to turn against me or whatever. But he stood and had my back. And since it's Black History Month, I'm going to give a shout out to a living legend, a living Black history maker who was alive, who was still making Black history, the embodiment of Black history, John Wiley Price. You dig? And I got the song on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, everywhere, like John Wiley Price. You know what I'm saying? Y'all type that in and search that and add that to your playlist. You did.
All right. Okay. You got a lot going on.
Hey man, say man.
Yeah, you got.
You know.
But it's all good, and and sometimes I mean it. I hate that it's things are happening that are unfair, but like when you not when you're challenging the establishment or the system.
That's right.
That's what happens
That's
sometimes, and everybody ain't built for it, but you are. So
hey man, we got to get built for it. We got to take responsibility and people prosper. That's what trap. We branding what trap is. Trap is take responsibility and people prosper. So that's what we're doing. I'm taking responsibility in the hopes of communities like Highland Hills and Oak Cliff and South Dallas and West Dallas, communities that have been forgotten and have been exploited, that they will prosper in the future.
Okay. All right. Well, we're gonna move in another direction because I have been trolling your pages, and I know that you have the Alkaline Hour.
Hey man, say man, we trapping out the kitchen. You did?
Yes, and the Alkaline Hour is it's a health platform geared to help Black families transition into a healthy lifestyle in a fun way. So are we good on time still? We'll just do 5 minutes. Okay, so I'm just going to ask you a couple questions about this one. What made you start the Alkaline Hour, and can you tell me about this sea moss gel and elderberry? Because I was like, what is that?
Right.
I want to try it.
Yeah, for sure. Well, definitely. What inspired me to create the Alkaline Hour is because I have people in my family that died from preventable health diseases or issues, and very close to me, right? And at the time, they didn't have access to this information. I'm a firm believer. If we did have this information at that time, then maybe their lives would have been extended. You feel me? They might be still here with me today. But so, Dr. Sebi also inspired this platform. This is a man who went up against the Supreme Court because he had newspaper ads saying that he cured AIDS, HIV, cancer, and things of that nature. You feel me? And he represented himself, and he won. You feel me? Because he had the evidence to prove it. But the basis of it is an alkaline diet. They're saying viruses and cancers and things of that nature live in an acidic state. If you're familiar with the pH or whatever, you got the 0 to 6 or whatever is acid, and then you got 7 on up to about 9 or 10 is alkaline. So when you eat foods from the alkaline side, which are the same foods that grew naturally where we came from before we were brought over here and adopted somebody else's diet, those same viruses and cancers and things of that parasites of that nature, they can't live and multiply in an alkaline environment. So it's a list. Look up the Dr. Sebi's nutritional guide to get familiar with this list. And what it is eliminating a lot of stuff like hybrid foods such as spinach, broccoli, and mucus causing foods such as those same hybrids because they're starch based, but potatoes is starch, and starch produces mucus, and he's saying mucus is pretty much at the root of every disease.
I've heard him say that several
times. So pretty much we're living an electric food diet that's helping us our systems. But beyond that, the also something he champions is sea moss. Sea moss has 92 out of 102 minerals that our body needs to operate at an optimum capacity. So sea moss, with a tablespoon of this stuff, you can get your nutrients for the day. You can get all your nutrients just with a tablespoon. You hear me? And so we're whatever. We got malnutrition. You hear me? We're not getting all of our nutrients or whatever. So with this one sea moss, with this one gel, you can get most of it, and then the other 10 you can get from bladderwrack is another herb which I also sell. So find the Alkaline Hour. It's THA Alkaline Hour on Facebook and Instagram and YouTube. You hear me? If you want to tap in and get a deeper understanding of this. And elderberry is a super duper uber powerful herb that is great for the immune system and other things like flu symptoms. People drink the syrup.
I need it.
Yeah, you should. Yeah, oh God, you hear me? Hey, if I would have got at you at that time,
man, I was almost dead. It was so bad.
Straight like that. Yeah, we should have got you that sea moss and that elderberry. Or definitely have it on deck. So if you do face something like that, you'd be good to go.
Okay. So real quick, so at the end of each segment, I have HeyDFW's top 5. So it's just real fun things, so people get to see a different side of you.
Okay.
They're just regular questions, almost like 20 questions, but it's 5.
Let's do 5.
Yeah. So who's your favorite artist?
Right now, Sauce Walker, but all time probably Tupac.
Okay. Favorite quote from a movie? Like we just this is I say this all the time.
Man, I might be crazy. You might think I'm crazy because I am, or something like that. I'm paraphrasing, but whatever Bishop Tupac said in Juice, you know what I'm saying, about him being crazy, I forgot.
Oh, I forgot too, but
you know what I'm
I
saying?
do
But
love
that
Juice.
one, you know what
I
I'm
love
talking
Juice. I was hurt when they shot Raheem.
Oh my God.
What are you most proud of?
I'm most proud of the plight of my people. We came from not being able to read this language to mastering it and to doing all types of things and being in every level of this whatever prestige and all that. You know what I'm saying? Being at every level of society is what I'm trying to say.
Okay. Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years?
Man, next 5 years, if I'm not in office taking political power in Dallas, Texas, then I'm definitely going to be in Ghana living a very wonderful lifestyle. I'm not going to have to deal with police brutality and things of that nature, but either in political power or in Ghana, Africa.
Okay. And if you could give young black men one tip, what would it be?
Get politically active, get politically educated, because you are the power. Your vote matters, but it more so matters if you run. So get politically active, educated, then run for office one day. Have that under your belt.
Yeah. I had one more question for him, but I didn't get to ask you during like all the police stuff. Did we have time for that, Kat? Or no, we don't then? You can. Okay, so I did want to ask you that. Because I feel like this is real important. So there's a distrust in the community where people do not trust the police, mainly is. Mm-hmm. How do you think the police can repair their perception with African Americans? How do you think they could just fix it?
Let me tell you something, sister. They cannot. It's shot, okay? I need y'all to read the accommodation, okay? This distrust has been it's been for a long time, and what they did was in the 40s and the 50s they used to bomb black people's houses, okay, in South Dallas and West Dallas and East Dallas. After the war, black people were becoming professionals. They were getting able to have more money and made the honest mistake of moving by a white person, and the white people could not accept that. They could not tolerate that, so they decided to bomb their houses, okay? And at this time, the police knew exactly who was doing it, but they would still arrest black people instead of arresting the people who were bringing aggression to these black families. So I think historically it has been shot. There's nothing y'all can do, so give up. The jig is up. We don't need y'all in our neighborhood. We need to train ourselves and take responsibility of our own communities. That's what I think.
All right, you guys.
All power to the people. You did.
Well, thank you, Brotha Shawt, for coming over. I have to have you back over before you go to Ghana.
Hey, man, say me for real. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm out. You can't convince me to
I got to
stay
get him before you go over there, y'all.
I'm gone.
And I wish you much success. We know with your case and all the fights that you're fighting, and I definitely support you. So
respect. I appreciate that.
You guys make sure you check him out on Instagram. It's at Brotha Shawt. The Alkaline Hour is at the Alkaline Hour, like he said, with the THA, Alkaline Hour, and just support him, you guys. So thank you. That's the end of my show, and I will see you guys again with another show. Thanks. Bye. Hey.
What what does it do? Who is your crew red or blue? Or do you red, black, and green like my brothers do? Banners on the scene, hot in the motherfucker like troops. Self-defense training, breaking down weapon systems, got a brother feeling bulletproof. That's right. But I do not want problems, rather solve them. Calculations, algorithms, absolute. Black fist to the roof, black fist to your tooth. Black fist to anybody that don't want to see this black fist. When you see a black fist saluting, then you lean with it on rock. With it, knock a Trump supporter out they sock with it. If he melanated, then acknowledge it. If she melanated, then acknowledge. What what you know good, what you doing for the people? What up in your hood, what you doing for the people? What what you know good, what you doing for the people? What up in your hood, what you doing for the people? What up, big fella? What is the word? The measure reading every single letter, increasing my levels. My sticks for you gins and you devils. P.S. I'm a rebel, and I'm about scheduled to bang on that beat. In the streets, economically, hit him where he do not wanna be. Pan-Africans connected, in and out the country. But it's us with you and me. Hollin' with what's happening, what's good? Shit, how was the kingdom? Even when you don't wanna speak. Just cause he don't got locks in his head don't mean he ain't wanna weep. But you gon' mug, cause you a thug. You don't give a fuck about black love. Just your Gucci Louis and your Jacksons, not your Africans. What up, huh? What is it do? Who is your Coretta Blue? What do you wear? Red, black, and green like my brothers do. Banners on the scene, hot in the motherfucker. I like some troops. Self-defense training, breaking down weapon systems. Got a brother feeling bulletproof. But I do not want problems, rather solve them. Calculations, algorithms, absolute. Black fist to the roof. Black fist to get to. Black fist to anybody that don't want to see this black fist.